Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Willie, and this is the encouraging word for today. Do you know that God always warns us about things before they happen? He warns us what to be careful of and what to watch out for. Just like a parent, a good parent, would warn their child of what to be careful about in life. So God always warns us, and He warns us uh, by using the scripture, which is why it is so important to regularly read the scripture, hear the scripture preached in a church, be part of a church, and to understand the scripture and to be part of a Bible study. Because as we learn the scripture, God uses the scripture to warn us of things that'll keep us on the right path and keep us strong. And one of the things that God warns us about in the Bible is that we have an enemy. And that enemy, of course, is Satan. And he hates people who follow Jesus. So you have an enemy. But God doesn't just leave it vague like that. Throughout the Bible, God gives examples of how Satan works, how Satan has acted in the past. And Satan doesn't change the way he acts. He's very effective in what he has done. I mean, just look at the mess the world is in, and he has no reason to change. So Satan continues to attack people, and especially followers of Jesus. So just because you have become a Christian, you're a follower of Jesus, you go to church, does not mean Satan is not going to attack you. So a key teaching that God gives us is examples of how Satan acts. And he doesn't change. So we learn and we're warned by that. And my goal today is to warn you, to give you a clear warning of what to look out for. So when we're dealing with demonic things or satanic things, the key is to be aware and to be forewarned ahead of time. 2 Corinthians, Paul makes that very clear in chapter 2, verse 11. He says, in order that Satan might not outwit us, for we are not unaware of his schemes. You see, if we're unaware that there's a trap, we will fall into the trap. But when we are aware, we will not fall into the trap. So my goal today, again, is to make you aware and to remind me and to remind you of some of the ways that Satan works. And we're going to look at Paul's story because Paul is an example. Paul was using his life. He had surrendered his life to be an instrument of God. In fact, God said, he is my chosen instrument. So when we become God's chosen instrument, Satan perks his ears up and makes us a target. So Paul was a target. And we see how Satan attacked. And Paul learned and knew how Satan would attack. Satan could never defeat him, and Satan will never and cannot defeat you as long as we stand in the truth of Jesus Christ and fight the battle with the weapons he has given us. You can read over Ephesians chapter 6 at the end, and you will see the weapons you have. We're invincible, but Satan still attacks. And being unaware is a dangerous place to be. So let's go to Paul's story, and today I'm going to read Acts 20, verse 29 through 31. Paul says this. And again, just to back up a second, he's speaking to the elders of Ephesus, where he planted the church. He's saying goodbye to them, and he's about to leave and never come back. So he's giving them instructions, and he's warning them. So again, Acts 20, verse 29 through 31. I know that after I leave, savage wolves will come in among you, and will not spare the flock. Even from your own number men will arise and distort the truth, in order to draw away disciples after them. So be on your guard. Let me say that again. So be on your guard. Remember that for 3 years I never stopped warning each of you night and day with tears. So first of all, he's speaking to the church. You say, wow, I thought Satan couldn't attack me if I'm part of the church. No, he's speaking to the church. He's speaking to the church. And he says, I know that after I leave, you see, when there's a gap in leadership, when there's a gap in pastoral leadership, that's a dangerous time, and Satan can get in. What is the job of a leader? To protect the flock. What is the job of a pastor? Pastor is a shepherd. You protect the sheep. If the shepherd goes away for a while or for a long time, the wolves will come in and eat the sheep. You can be sure of that. I have a friend who was keeping chickens in a chicken pen, and a wolf got in one night, and goodbye chickens. They had a nice dinner on the chickens. So he says that after I leave. So that tells me we need to be in a church. We need to be under healthy leadership that will protect us and warn us of Satan's strategies. That's point number one, being under a healthy protection. He says, after I leave, savage wolves will come in. Those are Satan's foot soldiers, if you will. Satan's instruments. Savage. Savage means there's no mercy. No mercy. No playing fair. A wolf, in this analogy that he's making to wolves and sheep, a wolf eats sheep. That's you and me. Okay? Savage, wolf. Not a good combination. That is who we're dealing with. So be aware and be careful. Don't be ignorant. Savage wolves will come among you. So they'll be in the church. Do you know that there are wolves in the church, and wolves trying to infiltrate churches? They may not even be aware they're used by Satan, but there's wolves in the church among you, he says, and they will not spare the flock. It's not going to be playing fair. They'll sow discord, lack of unity. Whenever I see a lack of unity in a church, I know that Satan is at work. He brings discord and disunity, people fighting with each other, and they forget about the mission to reach the lost. And then he says, even from your own number, men will arise. So sometimes people within the church will rise up, and they will be used by Satan to bring divisions. I've been in churches that have split apart. I've been in churches where one congregation has been taken from the church. I've been in congregations where people got so angry at each other that they left and they didn't connect with each other anymore. It happens in the church. And here's what they do and how we know they're Satan's foot soldiers. They will distort the truth. Distort the truth. You must know the truth. If you don't know the truth, you will be susceptible to someone distorting the truth. And why do they distort the truth? It tells in verse 7, in order to draw away disciples after them. They want to make you a disciple of them rather than a disciple of Jesus Christ. Have ownership over your life, almost like a cult. It becomes like a cult. And there are Christian groups that become cult-like. They follow a certain leader. He's drawing them away from Christ to follow him or her. So, deception, the goal, drawing you away. And finally, in verse 8, he says, be on your guard. Be on your guard. So, the message today is to be on your guard. It's my goal today is that you and I would be on your guard. Not be fearful, not be worried, but we would be prepared and not ignorant of Satan's devices. So God bless you, and I will see you on Monday.